everybody, welcome to the Comic Gamer Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I am here to review Avatar: Way of the Water. Now, this movie has been some people would say this movie has been 13 years in the making. Ever since the original Avatar came out in 2009, so long ago, we have all been in anticipation. Was it 2009? I think it was 2009 anyways. We've all been in anticipation for the sequel. And would James Cameron make it? And there had been so many rumors over the years, so many conversations over the years. James Cameron has come out and talked about it. And James Cameron hasn't really even done anything since Avatar. So we were all wondering, when is he and when is he going to do this? Video games, Avatar world, all these different things, conversations and whatnot. Very similar to Lucas when Lucas, well, similar and not similar, because there's a huge conversation to be had about the actual staying power of Avatar, that considering the movie is the biggest film of all time, the highest grossing film of all time, it has very little of an impact on pop culture, and it left very little of a footprint outside of outside of a technical level, which with the 3D and the CGI. The actual movie itself left very little of an impact. Like, honestly, outside of maybe the main character's name, most people don't remember any of the characters or any of the names. In fact, most people haven't even seen the original Avatar since the first year it came out. They may have seen it that year, they may have looked at it before, but I guarantee you most people who have seen the original Avatar haven't even thought about it for years, and the only reason you're thinking about it now is because of the new movie coming out. So, you know, not too long ago, a couple years ago, James Cameron announced he was working on this, like maybe 3-4 years ago, and there were all kinds of conversations. There was conversations about the fact that it was going to be mainly underwater. There was going to be a lot of more water themes. And that there was conversations about the groundbreaking technology he was doing for the water and the CGI. Obviously, things have changed since the last Avatar movie, which then offers James Cameron the ability to even ramp it up even again. So you're looking for next level CGI in this movie, next level immersion in this movie. And we kind of all anticipated he was going to do this again. Now, I gave my opinion about the original Avatar movie. While I do think that from a technical standpoint, it is a stunning, a marvelous movie, and as a piece of cinema and blockbuster movie, it is worth seeing in a theater, and it is an experience. But as an actual movie, I'm a story guy. I'm a character and story guy. Those are my two big beats. Everything else can suck. But if characters and story are working, I can go for you on this ride. Characters were kind of bland, and the story was a story that's been told a billion times. Not only that, but also kind of bland. So the original Avatar isn't in my high books, and I consider it one of the most overrated films of all time. But on to Avatar: The Way of the Water. First of all, off top, I think it's a better movie than the original Avatar. I do. I think it... First of all, I'm going to talk about the positives. First of all, they've now, while the colonizer / white savior stuff from the original movie is still there, it's much further in the background. Whereas this film takes place years after the events of the original movie. Jake Sully has a family now. He has a family of like 4 kids. 1 kid that he adopted, but I'll get into that in a later date. So, like, you know, he's the leader of that tribe now. Like, things have changed. Many things have changed. Years have changed. You know, his kids aren't even like little ones except for one. So, like, yeah, life has changed. So really, with him having a family now and it being more, because the first movie, if the first movie was about, and this is what I thought of when I was watching the film, if the first movie was about him finding happiness, about a man who was unsatisfied and unhappy in his life, you know, he was crippled, all these things, finding happiness. The sequel, this movie, Way of the Water, is about him keeping happiness. And how do you go about keeping happiness? It's one thing to say, I want to find love, but then you find love, you find the love of your life, you have a family. Now, the new challenge is here, right? Now it's a new set of obstacles. It's keeping your family together, keeping your children fed, keeping your wife satisfied. It's a whole new ball game once you have the happiness that you want. Because happiness, as he speaks about at the beginning of the movie, is a thing that you have to fight for. Like, once you get it, that's not the end, you know? Once you find like the woman of your dreams, the man of your dreams, whatever, that's not the end. There's still more shit to go. Keeping it is a whole thing. So if the first movie was about a man finding happiness, this movie is about him keeping it and what he needs to do to keep it. Because throughout the course of the film, you know, things go bad, obviously, and him and his family have to leave and go join another tribe, a water tribe. And it introduces the idea, too, which I liked also, that something that kind of goes over your head when you think about Pandora and the forest and the lushness of it is you forget that technically this is just a piece of this planet. The entire planet isn't just this tropical rainforest. We just saw a piece of the planet, which hints, without being too heavy-handed, that there are probably different parts of the planet with different Na'vi who live different lives, whose bodies have adapted, because when they find the water Na'vi, their bodies are kind of adapted more to swim in the depths of the water. They have kind of like fins. Like they have their hands, but their hands kind of have like kind of fins on them. Their tails are a bit thicker to help them navigate through the water. And it hints at an idea that there probably are more Na'vi in different locations and different landscape that bodies have adapted, that I can see where sequels can go. And the one thing I'll give this movie for sure, even above it actually having an interesting, instead of just being this white savior slash, colonizer thing, though it is still there, is it's a story about family. And it justifies its own existence because like many other people, I thought, why is this movie even happening? The first Avatar had a pretty good ending. It felt like a one movie. And, some movies you watch and you're like, that needs a sequel. The original Avatar never hit me that way. But with the introduction of some of Sully's children and the introduction of the concept that there are more Na'vi out there, also the introduction that while we may have only focused on the mining, Earth colony thing in the first movie in the forest, that's not the only place that Earth is. Like Earth is in other locations. As we learned in this movie, there's an entire set of people who were out in that ocean area near those water tribes who were hunting down these giant like hammerhead looking whale things. And the way they were talking was like they had been out there for a while, which sort of also hints that while we may have been focusing on this section of Pandora, that Earth and slash, as they call them, the sky people, are in other locations on the planet, which means different people, different opponents, which means it could grow to a bigger scale than just what we've seen. Like, it would be like if every Native American tribe in America came together to fight instead of just a tribe here, a tribe there, a tribe here fighting. It'd be like if all of them came together. So, sorry. Something almost fell over next to me. But no, so it does open up an ideas for sequels. And I can see, while watching the movie, seeds planted, seeds set for sequels. And for that alone, the movie is worth the price of admission. That James Cameron really did think through, okay, this is where I want to go with it. And once you watch the movie, if you're hesitant of thinking like, why does this movie exist? Once you watch the movie, you'll see. Once you watch the movie and you see the pieces with the Na'vi and the mini Na'vi that could be, you see the pieces with certain returning characters and certain things that are set up, you start to see, okay, I get it. Now, this movie obviously still has its issues. Obviously, there still isn't any real outstanding performances, at least in my opinion. There are some good performances, there are some solid performances, but there's no one in this movie that you're going to leave and you're going to be just thinking about that individual. Not unlike the first film. also still in the good department. The CGI is spectacular, the water sequences are spectacular, and from a technical level, it's great. But there are some weird things that really borderline on spoilers, so I can't really talk about it. There are some inconsistencies with the original movie. There are some things that don't make sense. There are some things that really take like logical leaps that just happen just so the movie can go the direction they want the movie to go. Also, the white savior colonizing stuff is still real at play here. You know, the white savior stuff isn't as bad. It kind of takes a back seat in this for the family stuff, but the colonizer stuff is still real full tilt. It's still really there. There's a returning character that's kind of just happens, and there's no real, like I say, there are some things in this movie that happen that really have no real explanation except like we wanted that to happen, and like they try to give you an explanation, but it's like, no, you just wanted that to happen. There's a subplot that in particular with a human child that really does nothing for the movie in hindsight. Like if it wasn't in the movie, it wouldn't really change much about the movie. There's a lot of stuff like that in the movie. There's obviously the kids, which to be fair, the kids weren't bad or annoying, but you know, there's still kid stuff doing kids. There's a death in it that is very predictable, which is one of the big other issues with the movie. Is most of the movie, just like the original movie, is very predictable. You know, you see the beats coming a mile away. From the moment they even get to that new land, you know what's gonna happen. You know the tensions, you know the drama, you know the young kid trying to prove himself. There's nothing in this movie that is surprising at all. Not even a little bit, which isn't a problem, but it's still, there are things about this movie that are just like the original movie. Although I enjoyed it more than the original movie, it's not without its flaws, and it's nothing that, even after seeing the movie, I was sitting back, literally, before I recorded this video, and I was like, I had to remember, I just saw this movie. By the way, I got up at like 9 a.m. to watch this 3-hour movie, and I found myself, for a brief moment, forgetting what I saw. Not because I forgot, it's just like, because while it was all spectacular, it all kind of blends together after a while. Like, and that's the thing, like, when I'm watching this movie, it all kind of blended together. Because while it's spectacular looking, after a while, you kind of go, okay, now what? You showed me the sizzle, where's the steak? And there's more, I'll give it this, there's more steak in this than the original movie. But not by a long shot. So I'd probably give Avatar: The Way of Water a 7.5. I think it's much better than the original, which I would have given a 6, which I think I gave a 6. But I'd give Avatar: The Way of Water a 7.5. Borderline an 8, because I do think it is going to be a very fun experience. You know what? I might give it an 8. I might give it an 8. Just because for a 3-hour movie, it did go by. But man, it does, yeah, I'm staying with my 7.5 because it does kind of blend together after a while. After 3 hours, it kind of just becomes one movie. And the first arc, this is what, it's stuck in the second arc. You know what I mean? It's stuck in the second act because throughout, you're just waiting for things to ramp up, and it's just like at this level, and it's like, okay, fine. But anyways, I enjoyed the movie enough. 7.5 from me. Avatar: Way of Water. Have you seen it? Comment below and let me know what did you think of the movie. Thank you guys for joining the Comic Movie Show again. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.